I think one of the things people trip up on here is they think it's set in stone. They must make a decision and then that's it. It's set in stone
Yeah.
and I can't change from that. I have changed my personal brand so many times over the years
Yeah.
that, it's constantly evolving
Mhm.
because as I meet new people and as I'm doing new things for people, it kind of evolves after that as well. So I would say when you're starting out, just start with first of all, you can only start with what you have. Start
Yeah.
with what you have, start with where you are, and just go for it. Be authentically you. Don't apologize for being who you are.
Mhm.
And also build your personal brand so that you are controlling the narrative that is spoken about you rather than people trying to guess what it's all about, right? And
Okay.
also be known for one thing. Be known for one thing so you're not confusing people. Makes your marketing so much easier if you just say, I do this and nothing
Yeah.
else. You may do 10 other things.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Yollab Central. Today, I have with me Ange. So, Ange, would you like to tell our audience why they should be excited about this conversation today?
Certainly, and thank you for having me on your show. Why should they be excited about this conversation today? Really, it's about becoming known for what you know and how
Mhm.
you can monetize that and live a life of freedom because of that. So I think that's quite exciting in itself.
Right. So that's the thing. I mean, it's become, at least on social media, how I see on LinkedIn,
Mm,
right? There are so many
mm.
experts who go out there and talk about the things that they know. But
Yeah,
I mean, there are a lot of people, say, like in the age bracket that I am, 25 to 35, right? They're
right.
still
Yeah,
getting through their career and then learning things as they go, right?
yes.
Obviously, for the experts, what you're saying makes a lot of sense because they've seen a lot of stuff. But is
Yeah.
it possible for somebody who's just probably done a few years in the industry,
Mm.
right? 5, 10 years, something of that sort?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, how I started my business over 20 years ago now was
Mhm.
I didn't even have that much experience. When I started my business, I had no experience in running a business whatsoever. I was
Yeah.
absolutely clueless and I had nobody to kind of show me the way.
Hmm.
I just had the passion for what I knew
Yeah.
and I had the determination that this is what it was going to succeed.
Hmm.
Absolutely sure it was going to succeed because I
Right.
just couldn't let it fail. So it was that determination and that passion that kind of led me. But I was clueless.
Hmm.
I mean, I made every single mistake in the book when I set up my company, when I hired staff, and
Hmm.
I think for someone, I mean, I was 30 when I set up my business,
Hmm.
just round about there, and I had two kids under the age of two. I had a full-time job, which was teaching.
Hmm.
So I had work on top of that because I had the homework to mark as well.
Hmm.
So, and then I had my side hustle, my copywriting business at the time.
Hmm.
So if I wasn't sleeping, I was working. Basically, I was juggling something or the other.
Yeah.
And me and my husband were ships that passed in the night. I think because if he was working, I wasn't. If I was working, he wasn't, kind of thing. So it was really tough in those early days.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when I hear people saying things like, "Oh, I don't have time because I'm working," I'm like, "No, it's not because you don't have time. It's
Hmm.
because you haven't made it a priority because
Hmm.
you can make it work." So for the first couple of years, it was tough. But then actually within 6 months, I was able to give up the full-time job and just work purely on my business. So
Hmm.
that took about 6 months runway to do that.
Right.
But that's not to say it wasn't a struggle then after that, because you're still
Yeah.
building the business. And
Yeah.
then, as I said, then it's hiring staff was the next thing. So how do you hire staff? And then what I did was I always had a coach that helped me because I knew I didn't know
Yeah.
stuff. And I knew that there were things that I didn't know, right? As well.
Yeah.
So I hired a coach, different coaches over the years, and I still do.
Hmm.
And the first coach I hired taught me the importance of systems,
Right.
to actually have systems in the business so that when you do bring people on, they're not guessing. they're not trying to work things out for themselves, that they're
Mm-hmm.
able to go in and straight away take over a role and start
Mm-hmm.
running with it. So building those systems is a really, really important step that I think a lot of starting entrepreneurs or business owners, they kind of miss out.
Okay, but then again, coming back to what I wanted to ask was that
Yeah.
building that runway, right, where
Yeah.
everybody thinks you're too young to be doing anything, right, or just
Oh,
doing advice. Okay, not
okay.
exactly entrepreneurship in a particular business line, right? If you go out
Mm,
and portray yourself as an expert on, say,
mm.
LinkedIn or Instagram, okay, building that trust takes a lot of time. And probably it's
Yeah.
just churning out content at this point of time. It's all content, right? So how do
Yeah.
you suggest people to do that these days?
Okay. So first of all, I think part of it's mindset. So
Hmm.
if you think you're too young or you're too experienced, then that's going to come out in how
Okay.
you communicate.
Hmm.
So mindset's really important. You've got to get yourself into the mindset of, yes, I can do this. I'm
Okay.
good enough. And that
Hmm.
was one of my problems actually in the beginning was I didn't feel I was good enough as
Hmm.
well. So I was good enough, I felt, to be a copywriter. So going out and selling copywriting was fine. When I made the transition to coaching,
Hmm.
that was a whole different ball game. So that was like, I'm not good enough to do this. I don't know what I'm doing again. Right.
Yeah.
So you've got to get into the mindset of, yeah, I am good enough. People need my service.
Hmm.
And what one of my coaches that kind of turned everything around for me said one day to me, he said, Angela, you're ready. And you've just got to get out of your own way because there are people waiting to be served by you. And these
Right.
people don't need anybody else. They only need you. So there's kind of like one of the things I think people get into a
Hmm.
trap in is they try to compare themselves with other people. So if you're young and you look at people that are older and they're more established, well, of
Hmm.
course, they're going to look better because
Yeah.
they've had a few more years ahead of you, right? So don't compare yourself to people that are not on the same level as you because you'll never win, right? So, but there are people that will work with you because they see your passion, they see your drive.
Right.
There's something about your personality that they see. If you put yourself out there as being authentic,
Hmm.
they'll recognize that in you and they'll say, I want to work with that person. And it's not the polished person they want to work with, it's you.
Right.
So being authentic, being real, and just putting out your own personality, nobody is for everybody.
Yeah.
So when we try and please everybody, we'll end up, that's a losing race, right? You
Yeah.
can't please everyone. So just focus on the people that are interested and do want to work with you and just build from there. And then the more experience you get, the more confidence you'll get as well. But there's definitely an audience for everybody.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So, and there's no such thing as I'm too young because nowadays a lot of entrepreneurs and business
Yeah.
owners they start in college, right?
Yes,
And they
that's
start
true.
running their business
Hmm.
in college. So there's no such thing as too young, too old. Even people start businesses in their 70s. So it's for everybody. If you have the passion to do it, you can do
Hmm.
this because I think today as well, there's never been a more easy time to start a
That's
business.
right.
We all
Yeah.
have the same tools. We all have our mobile phone, right? And
Yeah.
that's really all you need to get started at the
Hmm.
beginning, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So on to the next point is the fact that self-discovery, right? Is it like trial and error? Okay, I'll try my hand at this. I do this side
Yeah.
hustle, begin with this, and then go doesn't work. I go on to the next, and then the third, or something of that sort.
Yeah.
How
So for
long
some
should you do
people,
that?
yeah.
Should you be doing that?
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Um, yeah, how long should you do that? Perhaps it depends. It depends what it
Yeah.
is. Because there are some people that will start a business and they'll give up too early. Have you seen those memes on Facebook where they're tunneling through a tunnel and they
Yeah.
give up just,
Yeah.
they get to
Right.
the wall, right?
Hmm.
So there is that idea that if you give up too soon, you could
Hmm.
have made it and you just gave up too soon.
Hmm.
So I think tenacity is an important characteristic to have
Yeah.
when you're a business owner because business isn't a straight line and it's not a straight up. It's
Yeah, that's right.
all over the place, or sometimes backwards, and so um, and you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You've got to have that tenacity and the mindset to be able to
Hmm.
handle things when they're down, and then handle things when they go back up. So I think some people start several businesses before they hit on something they really want.
Hmm.
Some people get there straight away with the first idea. So
Yeah.
it really depends. But I think it's got to be something that you enjoy, that you like doing.
Hmm.
If you're in it solely for the money, that's not going to work. It's got to be
Yeah.
more than money that
Hmm.
drives you. Mm. So yeah, so how long they would actually have to do it for? I
Hmm.
think probably you kind of know if
Mm.
you like with me,
Yes.
it was like I wasn't going to let this business fail. So I was just going to continue on
Okay.
until,
Hmm. It
it
became
was
profitable.
successful. And
Yes.
then even then like I went through the 2008 recession,
Hmm.
and that was brutal. That
That's
was
right. Yeah.
really bad.
Hmm.
So, and you're gonna hit recessions every now and again. You're gonna hit bad times, and then
Yeah.
also it's being able to, as they say, pivot. This was a big word during the
Hmm.
pandemic, right? Pivot. You've got to be able to pivot when the market changes, and the market's always going to change. It doesn't matter what business you're
Yeah.
in. Things are going to change, and you have to
Hmm.
adjust,
Yeah.
right? So for my business, it was technology.
Oh,
It's
okay.
always been technology that I've had to adjust to the different
Mhm.
technologies that have come along that
Yeah.
have changed the way I do my business. So with
Hmm.
copywriting, it was first writing offline. We didn't
Yes.
have the internet when I first started, or it only just started, right?
Yeah.
And then when the internet came about, then it was relearning how to write for the internet.
Yes.
So that was another thing. Yeah. So there's always going to be things that you have to adjust for.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
about, yeah, I already asked about self-discovery, right? Uh, I got this about the mention that what you mentioned, right? Money will not cut it, right? When money is the
Mm.
motivation, it will not cut it.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I had this guest a few episodes earlier where she said that
Yeah.
if it is money, then you have to say it out loud that it is money that I'm motivated by. Obviously, it will not take you forever. It will not
Yeah.
motivate you forever, but at
Mm.
least it will let you help get to the goal that you have in mind, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that, obviously, you'll have to set a new goal or something of that sort.
Yes. I think, yeah, yeah, she's right. She's definitely right, is that you have to be honest with what motivates you.
Hmm.
And if it is at the beginning money, that's fine. But just know that, as you said, that's not going to last. So there's got to be something more. I mean, it can be something and money, right? But I think because if you're running a business, it's hard enough to run a business.
Yeah,
And anybody that says that running a business is easy, it's not. It's a lot of
that's
hard
true.
work. So if you're going to be spending hours running a business, and in the early days before you get a team, you are going to be there for hours a day
Yes.
doing this,
Hmm.
then if it's something that you enjoy, that's
Hmm.
definitely going to help. If it's something you don't enjoy, you've just created yourself a job that you hate, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, why do that to yourself? It's much easier then to go and get a job and be employed by
Yeah.
someone, and at least you can finish at 5, right?
And I've got that as well, right? I mean, not
Mm,
everybody is cut
mm,
out to be a business owner or an
mm,
entrepreneur.
mm. Mm.
Sometimes you're just happy with the comfort that a 9 to 5 gives you, and you don't want to get
Yes.
into and create that side hustle and have some more revenue or something of that sort.
Yeah. Although I think that what I say to people is if it's even crossed your mind that
Mhm.
you could start a business one day, then I think you have it in you to do it. It's
Okay.
that, but there are other people that it wouldn't have even crossed their mind to start.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
would be something that was like absolutely no way,
Mhm.
And it was the same actually for me when because I grew up in the UK,
Okay.
and that I in an environment that wasn't entrepreneurial at all. Everybody had jobs. I
Yeah.
always had a job,
Mhm.
and it would never have crossed my mind to start my own business. That would
Mhm.
have been, are you crazy? What are you talking about? That's for other people. That's not for me.
Yeah.
That's a completely different ball game. And then I moved to Singapore, which is where I'm based now. And
Yeah.
Singapore is much more entrepreneurial. It's a smaller country anyway, so you're meeting people that are entrepreneurs a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I started getting into that environment and thinking then, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
Mhm.
So that's how I started. And it was just, for me, it was the freedom
Yeah.
of time for me. That was my
Right.
motivation. It wasn't the money, it was the time. So as I said, when I started, I had two young kids under the age of two. And I knew that going to work and being controlled by other people's time
Yeah.
was not helping me at all. So if I could control when I could work and when I
Mhm.
couldn't, and it's completely my decision, that
Yes.
was the freedom I wanted. So that's what I built with my business, was the freedom to be able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. So that's what motivated me.
Now, there's one important point that you mentioned, right? You got into the circle where there were entrepreneurs around you. There was this idea floating around that you can own a business, you can run a business, and we've been
Yeah.
running businesses, probably you can do it too, right? And
Yeah.
that motivation leads a lot of people to that path.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important who you surround yourself with.
Hmm.
Um, and especially, as I said, in the down times when it gets tough, to be able to speak to someone who understands what it's like to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and to have a business that's in trouble, then it goes up and it's going down and up and down.
Mhm.
At least if you've got people that understand, and then also people that are ahead of you, that have
Right.
just cracked the code you haven't yet cracked,
Hmm.
right? It's good to surround yourself with them as well, because then you can see what's possible.
Yeah.
And then, it's always the idea that we've all got 24 hours in a day. We've all got the
Yes.
same basic skill sets in the industry we choose to be in. It's, again, it's a question of priority. How badly do you want it? How willing are you to work for it?
Hmm.
And then finding ways to work smart to get
Right.
there as well. And then the ways to work smart is where the other people come in, and they can guide you and tell you you should be doing this, not this. Don't waste your time doing this. And then build the other thing is leverage with building a team. That was just a game changer for me when I started hiring people and just realizing that, oh my God, this is so easy when I get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, circling back to where we started, right? About
Yeah.
finding your specialty and anyone can become an expert on online, right?
Yeah. Mm.
So creating that personality online,
Mm.
finding that true niche that you want to serve. Uh, how can somebody take baby steps in that direction? Somebody who is mid-career.
Right. So I think it is hard,
Mhm.
because I think one of the things people trip up on here is they think it's set in stone. They must make a decision and then that's it. It's set in stone
Yeah.
and I can't change from that. I have changed my personal brand so many times over the years
Yeah.
that, it's constantly evolving,
Mhm.
because as I meet new people and as I'm doing new things for people, it kind of evolves after that as well. So I would say when you're starting out, just start with first of all, you can only start with what you have. Start
Yeah.
with what you have, start with where you are, and just go for it. Be authentically you. Don't apologize for being who you are.
Mhm.
And also build your personal brand so that you are controlling the narrative that is spoken about you, rather than people trying to guess what it's all about, right? And
Okay.
also be known for one thing. Be known for one thing so you're not confusing people. Makes your marketing so much easier if you just say, I do this and nothing
Yeah.
else. You may do 10 other things. So for
Mhm.
me, I help people build businesses,
Mhm.
right, on the side. And I'm a copywriter. So I have all these different businesses, and I also do speaking. I do training for communication as well.
Mhm.
So, but I choose personal branding as the front. This is the door
Right.
into me, is through personal branding. So I
Yeah.
don't talk necessarily too much about the other things, because people are
Mhm.
then going to get confused about who is she. So
Mhm.
if I just talk about personal branding, they come to me for that, and then I can start talking to them about the other things as well.
Yeah.
So make your message really simple is something, and also trust your instinct. Trust your instinct. Be willing to listen to other people who say they know, but trust when it comes to your personal brand,
Yeah.
trust yourself. And I'll give you two examples of that.
Yeah.
One example is myself. I got someone to build a personal brand for me, and they called me the what was it, the business fairy godmother. And I hated it. I hated it. It looked good. It looked like
Yeah.
the brand looked really good, but I just felt at the time, this was like 10 years earlier anyway. And I was like, I'm not a godmother. I'm not that old. So I was really uncomfortable with it. So
Yeah.
although I tried to go with it, there
Hmm.
was this resistance all the time because I
Yeah.
didn't like this brand. So that was one. And then only today, I was talking to a client today who were building his personal brand on LinkedIn. And I gave him a mock-up of his banner. And I
Hmm.
said to him, can you go and get a photo of you like this? I showed him a picture of someone and we showed him with the stance and how I wanted the picture to be, how the
Hmm.
photo to be of him. And he said, I went for a professional photo shoot and I wanted to do this, but the photographer talked me out of it and said it wasn't professional to do on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And I was, well, no, but this is you. This is
Yeah.
you. And this summarizes this stance, this position, this look, summarizes everything they need to know about you.
Hmm.
So he had the right instinct. He knew what he wanted to put up and he
Yeah.
let someone talk him out of it. So
Okay.
don't let if you really know who you are and what you're about and you want to show that side of you, go ahead and do that because you'll be much more comfortable putting yourself out than trying to put yourself out in some kind of manufactured image that's not you, because that's just not going to work long term because you can't live up to that.
Okay.
So trust your instinct. Trust your instinct.
Okay. Uh, no, I mean, from a personal perspective, I've been thinking of putting out content, doing this, doing that, probably
Mm,
experimenting with
mm,
stuff. Right. This podcast itself, trying to
mm.
leverage the LinkedIn page and then repost it as
Yeah,
sharing, right? Because
yeah,
for several reasons. Okay. So for entrepreneurs and the business that they own, right? Do
yeah,
you recommend separating these two personalities, or sometimes obviously the entrepreneur itself is the business, right? For example,
yeah,
for you, your coaching business is basically you,
yeah.
right? So
Yes,
how do
yes.
you recommend people to do that balance?
Okay. I personally am not a big fan of social media. I don't like,
That's perfectly
I don't
great.
like
That's
doing
great,
it.
actually.
I don't. I don't like doing it. I
Yeah.
love YouTube. I like
Uh-huh.
doing YouTube. But the rest of it, absolutely, it just drives me
Yeah.
bonkers. It's not my wheelhouse. It's not where I'd naturally sit.
Okay.
So I recognize that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I've devised is a system where I do my YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the core of the content. That's the main message that goes
Yeah.
out. That's the medium that goes out. And then I have a team that takes that, chops it all up into shorts, does a blog, does social media posts out of the messaging,
Yeah.
just creates, and we have like hundreds of pieces of content could be from one
Mm-hmm.
video, right?
Yes.
So and so I don't spend my whole time on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then we schedule it out as well. We put it
Yeah.
through a scheduler, and I will occasionally pop up and do one that's just me, just being me at the
Yeah.
time. So I did one today on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
just about coming on this podcast actually, because we're in different time zones. And
Yeah.
I've been up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's now nearly 11 o'clock at night here now. So I went for a short sleep.
Yeah.
And then I woke up feeling worse and I was like, I shouldn't have gone to sleep. I shouldn't have gone to sleep. So managing those time zones
Yeah.
is a bit tough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Mm.
right? When you say business from anywhere, it also includes time zones, right? I've worked with
Yeah.
clients who are sitting at the other side of the globe, so you have to be, I don't know, approachable or at least be available at some point, if not fully
Yeah.
available, but you have to have the ability to cater to emergencies, right? Because,
And what I feel as well about just this whole internet thing, like, I mean, when I started my business, the internet was just starting. It was just this
Mhm.
concept of you could connect with people across the globe was
Yeah.
completely new, right? So now we just take it for granted
That's
that, but it's just, this is the thing that I love the most of everything, is just being able to connect with different people in different places from all around the world,
right.
and just build that connection, and
Yeah.
just realizing we're all similar, we're all the same, right? We all have
Yes.
the same desires, dreams, whatever.
Hmm.
And they're also getting help from people. There was one of the early podcasts I did with a guy in New York, and I just started off. My podcast was terrible, and I had really bad lighting. So at the end of the podcast, he said to me, "What? How are you lighting your room?" I was like, "Oh, I've got this light, whatever." He's got, it's very yellow. He said, "Get a daylight light bulb and put a
Uh-huh.
daylight light bulb in," and it just made all the difference. So just being able
Yeah.
to get that piece of advice from
Mhm.
someone from New York was great. Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing when you have such amazing conversations from people across the
Mm.
globe. You don't know where they're from. You just start talking, and then suddenly they tell you, "Oh, right, we're sitting here." And then imagine, "Oh, God." I mean, right. Yeah, sometimes it happens. And then you get such amazing advice from for just like that because you had a wonderful conversation, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's the best part about the job for me, is just being able to speak to people from around the world. It's amazing. Mm.
Yeah, when you have, I mean, another thing that's great about business from anywhere, as I mean, I see it there,
Mm.
so it's just coming
Yeah.
top of my mind. So it's just that you have customers from everywhere, you have clients, I mean, you have
Yeah.
suppliers from anywhere. So, and
Yeah.
sometimes you have employees sitting across the globe. So that brings so much more perspective. You have so much more
Yes.
visual clue as to how can people be doing stuff.
Yeah.
There are different cultures working on things like that, right? And
Yeah. 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 And it's totally changed the way business is done. And I
mhm,
think there's a lot of traditional business owners that are still resisting this, and even
mhm.
governments that are resisting really this way of working. But this is the way people work now.
Yeah,
You've got access to talent around the world.
yeah.
So I have a virtual team that
Mhm.
helps me,
All
and they're in
right.
different countries, and it works fine. Yeah. Mm.
Okay, so from your experience, this just came
Mm.
randomly to my mind because you mentioned
Yeah.
virtual teams and the
Yeah.
internet and social media. How do
Yeah.
you manage this whole virtual team? How many people are you working with? And yeah, how do you manage time zones?
Oh, time zones is tricky. Okay, so I had a VA in Canada who's absolutely brilliant. She's wonderful, but the time zone's a real problem.
Yeah.
So it's then working out, okay, what is it that she can support me with that doesn't involve so much time-based things? So we've
Mhm.
got her doing things that are not related to time, and she can check in her own time and get back to me. And it's not really urgent kind of
Yeah.
things that I need responses for. And then I have someone in the Philippines and someone in Indonesia, and they do different things for me. And we use one to all of us, and then one person in India doing my YouTube as well.
Okay.
So there's four of them in different. So all of them are in different countries, but
Yeah.
we all come together on. So it's best to use like project management tools that are
Yes.
available around the world. So we're just using ClickUp
Okay.
and coming together on ClickUp, and all the tasks go in there, conversations go in there. You can record videos on the fly in there and show people what to do and things like that. So
Hmm.
that's a really handy tool to be able to manage what people need to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So,
it's
yeah.
WhatsApp if things are urgent.
Yeah, I mean, WhatsApp just suddenly became more like Microsoft Teams, and I was like, why are they even trying to do that? I mean, they added there was video call, obviously there was video call, but then they added group video calls, and then they added scheduling to group video calls, and then you could share
Okay.
links to group video calls. And so I said, why is it WhatsApp becoming Teams, right? And then
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I just use it for quick messaging if I need to, or they've got a quick question they need answering,
yeah.
and I'm not, but maybe I'm not at my desk at the time. Then
Mhm.
if I'm out and about, I can look at my phone and they've got a question, I can quickly answer it.
Yeah.
So, but in theory, I could also do that through ClickUp on the phone as well. So,
Okay, Angie, thank you so much for joining in. This was an amazing conversation going all around. I don't know where we start and talked about personal branding. We talked about creating businesses from scratch and then great
Yeah,
and tenacity and I don't know whatnot. So thank you so much for
yeah.
joining in. So
You're
before I close,
welcome.
how can people get in touch with you and where can they know more about you?
Okay. So you can reach me at my website, which is my name, angedove.com. And then
Okay.
you can find out all about me there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in to the audience who's been
Yeah.
watching and listening intently. Uh, if you liked what we talked about, do leave a like. The comment section is open for questions, suggestions, and perspectives. And yeah, you can add to the conversation as well. And don't forget to
Okay.
subscribe before you close the window itself. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Angie.
And thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.